Hi, this is Eric from Datafeedr.com. Thanks for checking out the Ads by Datafeedr plugin. In this screencast, I want to show you how you can embed an ad or a group of ads into a blog post using the shortcode. So here I have a blog post. It's Hello World, and it has 3 paragraphs. I want to embed an ad right between the first and second paragraph, and I want that ad to rotate through a group of ads. So let's go back into the admin area and go to Settings, Ads, and we're going to need to generate a shortcode. Shortcodes are good for embedding into posts, pages, and text widgets. So I'm going to select shortcode. And in this shortcode, I only want to display ads for posts, and in this example, that's just text ads. I only want to display one at a time, but I'll order them randomly. You can choose to order your ads by many different parameters. And that's all I need for now. We'll come back to this in a second. So I can select the shortcode by just clicking in the yellow box, go to Edit, Copy, and I'm going to go over to my Hello World posts and click Edit, and then paste in my shortcode. Click Update. And then when I come back to my page, I'll reload the page, and you can see that the ad appears right in line. We do have one small problem, and you can see that we have the content, and then space, and then the ad, and no space, and then the next paragraph. This is because this is a paragraph or a p tag, but this ad is being displayed within a div tag, and then this is being displayed in a paragraph tag. But div tags don't have padding on the bottom, so we're not getting the gap like we do between 2 different paragraphs. Or, from an HTML standpoint, if we look at the HTML, you can see we have paragraph, div, paragraph, and paragraph. So what we want to do is add a little padding to below this div. But how can we target that div? We need to add some type of class name or ID, a CSS class or CSS ID to that div. So let's do that. So let's go back to our ad settings. Let's scroll down, and we have a container HTML tag. That's the that's the HTML that wraps around all of our ads. It's default div, and that's the div that we saw when we looked at the source code. We actually want to give that container a CSS ID and or CSS class. So I'm going to give it the CSS ID of impost, and notice I don't need any periods or hash marks before that. And then I'm going to give it a CSS class just for example purposes. I'm not going to use it exactly though. And again, we don't need to include any periods before this, and we'll just put in example class. 2 S's. Now I'll select that entire shortcode by clicking in the yellow box, go to Edit, Copy, go back to my post, delete the old shortcode, and paste in the new one, and update. Now let's go back, I'll close my inspector, and reload. Didn't change much, but that's because we didn't actually add any CSS. But let's make sure that the class and ID are in there. So we're going to inspect those elements. And sure enough, we have the first paragraph, and then the second element is a div, and it has the class name of example class and the ID of impost. And so what we're going to do is target this element using the CSS ID impost. So let's go over to our style sheet. I have the CSS file open for the 2012 theme in my text editor, and it's the style.css file. And I'm going to put in impost. Get a little breathing room here. And I'm going to put in, I'm going to give it a background color, make it stand out a little bit. I'm also going to put a border on it. Hopefully that stands out. I'm going to give it a little bit of padding on the inside. And then I'm also going to give it a margin on the bottom of 20 pixels. So let's go ahead and save that. We'll head back to our page, and all we need to do is reload. And there we go. So now we have our div that has the CSS styling that we just applied to it. And it has the background, and most importantly, it has the margin at the bottom. So even if you got rid of the coloring, maybe get rid of the padding too, you would still have, now it would look like a paragraph when in fact it's actually a div. So that's how we can target and style contents of a post. We don't need to add any inline code. We can just do it using CSS and by targeting using the container CSS ID and the container CSS class if need be. So that's how we can embed random rotating ads within a post.